Hey guys, welcome back. So now we're going to add the next image style section in our list. So if we scroll down under the images subheader, we just looked at the image with text section. Now we're going to look at the row of 1 to 4 images. So this is actually one of the more versatile sections within the Power theme. And the reason is because we can choose how many images we'd like to display. So it's quite common for websites to just either show one image at a time or show a row with multiple images inside. And instead of breaking this up into multiple sections, we actually did this in a single section that allows you to choose how many sections will appear in the row. So to better illustrate this, let's add some images to this section. So another thing to note here actually is you can see that there's space for 4 different image uploads in every section, but depending on how many images you select here in the section layout, it will only actually display that number of images. So to illustrate what I mean here, let's add some images. So we'll add this guy, maybe not this one, because you can see this is not a square image, so it does upload in the aspect ratio of the original image. So I mean, this would work fine, but it's probably best if you upload all images of the same aspect ratio in this case. So let's stick with all square images for now. So you can see we have the first 3 uploaded, and if we attempt to upload a 4th image here, we can do so, but you can see that this image is not displayed on our site. And that's because we selected the style with 3 images per row. If we did switch it to this 4 style, then we can see all 4 images show up. Similarly, if we went with the 2 style, then we would just see these 2 images. So let's bring it back to 3. Next, let's look at the max section width, because this is another important setting for this style of section. So again, this is how wide the section will appear on desktop. And if we lower this, you can see that this entire section will shrink. And this is quite important, especially if you're uploading a section with only 1 image. So if you only want to display 1 image, for example, then you would likely want to bring this down. Maybe not quite that small, but maybe at like 400 pixels perhaps. So that would be a good size for 1 image. But if you're doing a row of images, obviously you want it a bit bigger. Before we go any further, let's actually switch over to the mobile view so we can see what's going on over here. So you can see on the mobile view, the images never go left or right. They always go up and down. So if we switch to 1 image, it'll be 1 image like this. 2, we can see they stack like this. Next, let's look at the image card shadows. Excuse me. So this is a really cool effect, especially if you're going to use these row of images as sort of like galleries on your page. So let's switch it back to 3, for example. We'll turn on the background shadows, and now we can see we have this cool background shadow effect on all of our images. And I really like to do this, again, if we're creating like gallery style sections. So perhaps you have a lot of lifestyle images of your product that you want to show off. This works really well. So let's actually switch it to 4 here, make it a little bit wider. And we'll add another row of 1 to 4 images right below this one. And I'll quickly upload some more images. So now you can kind of see what I mean with the gallery style. You can kind of see it coming together. So we can add more shadows to these cards, and we can either choose to have these 3 images match the width of this section, or what I would probably do in this case is shrink it down a little bit so the actual image sizes match. And maybe you could add additional copies of this 4-row at the same size to build out your gallery a little bit more. So that's a cool way to use this section for sure. So let's just get rid of this one for now and go back to our original. Some more settings that we have here for the images are for space between desktop images. So right now, the space between each of these images on the desktop is 20 pixels, but we can easily increase or decrease that space like this. We can also change the vertical space on mobile. So if we go back to our mobile view here, notice that the space between images is 10 pixels by default on mobile, but we can increase that as well if we'd like. We can also change the image opacity here. So if you want faded images, you can easily do that as well. And then apart from that, we just have the default section settings that every section has. So add padding top and bottom, and add an animation. So when the section loads, it'll animate in with this animation. And that just about does it for the row of 1 to 4 images. So again, this is a really versatile section. And again, we could have split this up into multiple sections, but we thought this would just be a lot cleaner for everyone. And if you want to add images to your site, you can typically make this section work for you. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.